How'd you end up here in Provo, Utah?
Born a half hour south. Lived here most of my life. All my life.
If you grew up here, and you're kind of like born and raised, what made you stick around the area?
Work, mostly. Clientele, family. There's been like a series of crises that I'm like, you could call me codependent, and like I've overextended myself in some areas with my family, but also am an integral part to the support system of my family, and so I can't really turn my back on that with good faith in myself. And so I've got some unfinished business. I desperately want to get out of here, or at least like create a difference. Like I feel unsafe with respect to Mormonism. I can acknowledge it's a good institution, good values. It helps people. It didn't work for me. It doesn't align with my values. There's a lot of prejudice that breeds from it. People here are weird, man. There's like very rigid sides, very polarized. You got traditional culture, and then you have a counterculture, and people are overcorrecting on both sides. And so there's no real safe space. But specifically in Mormonism, is difficult to regulate. Like, it's difficult to be accepted by others or not have like just prejudice, especially if you're queer or if you have like any identity issues. Anything unconventional is like can't really relate to anyone around here. And then more so like significant series of people that are unable to make eye contact with other individuals, like down to very what would seem like small things, but are actually really enormous and like difficult to navigate. Like you can't even. People aren't emotionally intelligent here, and they're not mature, and it's like because of a dependency on a specific organization, and that alone is enough to get me out of it. But in some ways, I think it should be. I think the values surrounding the situation should be what's focused on. I think people should leave institutions because they don't agree with the values of them, not just because like I'm uncomfortable here. Like it's important to do uncomfortable things, but like it really depends on how people are treated, and if you agree with that treatment, and distance yourself from that. And people treat each other like shit around here, even on counterculture. Like you get hella kids getting crazy tattoos out here, like so many tattoos here compared to other spaces, just because they want to troll, they want to be loud, and fight back, create opposition, and that creates a bigger line, more prejudice. It's horrible.
And you're a tattoo artist?
Correct, yeah, with the tattoo.
Did you get into tattooing because of the counterculture movement?
Yeah, and it was an act of insecurity and like dependence. Like I should be enough in myself, and it doesn't matter if I'm doing something that's like not conventionally validated. I shouldn't lean into things just because it feels right, or it's contradictive to what's happening. And I did that, and granted I love what I do, but I did it in bad faith.
Do you feel a sense of community in that counterculture?
I wish, man. Dude, yeah, no. If I did a bit more hard drugs, I think I would fit in a bit more. I think,
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Well,
and the counterculture is like people that were in the church that left and are...
Maybe.
Okay.
It might exist outside of it too. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, was there a moment of like fundamental shift when you said, I don't want to be a part of this anymore?
Yeah, I had
Or was it like slow build up?
a little bit of both. Maybe a single straw I can account for. It broke camel's back, but and then in retrospect things became clear. But I guess I would lean towards a singular event. I had intentions to serve a mission in the church, right? Like go proselyte, sacrifice several odd $1,000s and 2 years of my life to get sent out to some place to tell other people to do something that I didn't have faith in. And so I figured I would read the counter texts. Like there's weird propaganda that's involved with Mormonism. They tell people to like anything that's not professing truth around the situation is of the devil, and you can't absorb it. It's like it's real culty. real problematic. And I figured I would go as far to like delve into it, at least give it credit, because if the church is true, what kind of book is going to convince me otherwise of that? Like if I'm in part of God's true church, there can't just be a single book that would take me out of that context. There are, and like there's horrible evidence of debauchery, like sex trafficking connotations of all the church, like really disgusting shit. Yeah, and I had to eat that in like a 12-hour period of like, I don't think God exists the way that I think he does, and maybe my family's in a cult, shit like that.
Do you feel like any of the values from that religious existence you still have, or is there any positive takeaway from that? Or
enormous positives, yeah.
Okay.
And it sucks that I'm navigating this victim mindset. I'm obviously hurt, just like everyone else is in this context, because in a lot of ways I live in a Christ-like way, and I relate to the regulation that Mormons practice. I'm like the idea of lack of addictions, and consciousness surrounding dependencies on things. Great. Like shouldn't be smoking weed all the time. It's a great value. Meditation and like spirituality versus like reverence, just being able to be calm and be okay with being with my thoughts, and have like idea of a higher power, and faith, the idea like things are going to work out, are all things that should be practicing, and it's ideal in a context that's given to someone that's like consumable, and you don't have to question it. And it sucks that like the moment I feel betrayed in this context, I've had to relearn those fundamental skills when I could have just held on to them rather than like building some kind of petty resentment towards this idea of God or whatever. I overthought it, and then overcorrected is what's up.
Anything in your life up to now that you could look back on and feel really proud about? Anything that's positive that sticks out to you?
I don't know. I think I treat people with respect, which is nice, and I'm proud of that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like petty, but I could definitely say I'm proud to be a good friend, like be kind to individuals. I feel weird saying that, like it might not be true or something, or it's in bad faith.
It's a good principle to live by. Without that sort of framework in the religious society to navigate challenges of life, how do you get through these periods of life that are just not going according to plan, or challenge or uncertainty? What's your approach to the inequities of our existence without that community?
Pretty much the exact same thing, but on a personal level, like an assertion of values via principles, so that I can have some sense of self and worth, like values as in something I care about, something I feel is important, and principles as in something that enacts those values. So like it's like in a really meta and unironic way, exactly the same as what like a good Christian religion preaches. Personal conviction, faith, affirmation, and like radical acceptance, and forgiveness too is like a huge thing. Like I can't function without being able to wield the tools of like letting things go that other people do to me. And I would go as far to say that's it's pretty Christ-like in a very unironic way. But also at the same time, I don't fucking necessarily believe in Christ. Like I care about him, and he's a great archetype, but there's probably just as likely context that he's an archetype. Like it was blown out of proportion to demonstrate a lesson, but that there's value in that. I recognize that, but it's funny. It's ironic. It is.
Is there any advice you can give to that younger self, knowing what you know now?
Believe in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Believe in myself. Stop questioning everything so much. Just be okay with things. A lot of resistance involved when I was a kid.
If you had a period of 1 year where money was not an issue, do you have an idea of how you live and where you live?
Not a clear one, but what comes to mind at first would be travel as much as I could and talk to as many people as I could. See if I could make artwork for individuals that I care about. See if I could help individuals. If I didn't care, like if money wasn't an issue, I would show up to the plate for everyone's agenda. Tons of local businesses need attention. Tons of creatives need help, like in direction. I feel like I can't. I feel like I'm a cheerleader for those individuals, and I can't really give as much as I'd like because I have to focus on myself. I have to well up value in myself to be able to extend it to others. And if I fucking could do that for a year, I would just pour on everyone else around me. Like, here's money, here's time. And I would travel for sure. It wouldn't be I'm going to go to a place. It would probably be dozens, right? Yeah. I envy what you're doing. It's like really cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.